guys. This has been a fun little discussion. We're talking about this tune, The Days of Wine and Roses. I thought I'd just go through maybe and talk briefly about what my choices were on this tune and some of the thinking behind a few of the little substitutions that I made and just my general approach. A lot of it has to do with my right hand, so I wanted to make sure my right hand gets in the shot. Right off the bat, I played a little intro, which I just improvised. I wanted to get a kind of set up the key with a 1 chord, then a 2 and a 5, and then this 4 minor, which is featured in the tune quite frequently. I like that minor 9 sound. You probably heard me do that a lot. That's B flat minor 9. It leads very nicely to the E flat 7. And then I can't remember exactly what I did. Maybe, or maybe I played something like that. Okay, anyway, I get eventually to this C7 with a C in the melody. I experimented with using C7 with E in the bass, but I think I might have played that. And on the video, maybe I kind of let the melody flow through there. Anyway, some kind of C7 with C in the melody. And then, because as the first melody note in the song, well, the second one really, but the sort of the main melody is the third of an F chord, an A on an F chord. That leaves us a lot of room. A lot of guys will play it here. I play it there as well, or you can play it here. Play it here. I chose to do it up here because it gives me a little bit more flexibility. Let me turn my hand so you can see. A little more flexibility with what to do while that melody note is ringing. So I play the major 7th right here. It's a very tight, similar sound to what I was talking about earlier, where you've got a minor 2nd right there. But in order to soften it a little bit, I just lay it in as a kind of inner melody. So we say, okay, and that's just 7 to 6 to 7, while the other guys ring. And you could go put a 9 in there and then trade it out. There's a lot of pretty ideas. We were looking for a lushness there. And then to the E flat 7, I start with a basic E flat 7 with a 9 in it, so just an E flat 9. And then you have to buckle your second finger to get that sharp 11, but I think that's such an important and beautiful note. We want to make sure that it's not sloughed off. So I play it like this. And then I think on the video I played an A minor 11 and then grabbed the flat 5 by moving my little finger down, and then approached D7 from above. So, oh, sorry. Something along those lines. And then the ba-da-da-da-dum. Okay, so we're heading to G minor 9, and I played a little approach from above. So this would be like E flat 13, thinking, on my way to D9. So, or, let me play that so I can get it into context. Oh, that's what I did. Jeff mentioned about these little slidey things that make it sound a little bluesy. So that's, I think of that as E flat 13 with that note in it, which is the 9. So it's just like an E flat 9 with the 13 in it. So, and I just slide into it, and then I get to what I think of as a D9. And then down, big jump down to the G minor where the melody goes. And I take advantage of that D note to get another 9 in there. And then to grease it up a little bit, I play, instead of G minor 7, I played this sort of G minor 7 flat 5. And then this is a tricky fingering because I'm getting a lot of stuff sort of stealthily with my first finger. We want the A melody note. And then I also like the sound of the B flat minor 7 going to B flat minor 6. I think I might have gone something like that. And then right here is usually an A minor chord, and I play it as an F chord because I want to get this movement. That kind of sound. G minor. Now this part of the song I notice is a little tricky. It's tricky for me, and I notice a lot of other guys were kind of sloughing some things off here too. In the standard books it says that to a C7. A very good guitar player once told me that he didn't think it was C7, but it was rather G minor with C in the bass, according to the original Henry Mancini recording of this. I like that sound. I also like that sound where you resolve that. I love those kinds of inside things. And then a 2/5 of the 6. I do that a lot, where I'll play the chord, leave as much of it ringing as I can, and grab a new bass note on my way to A7. And then okay, here's the D minor. Usually it's this. And that was a little bit plain for me, so I thought I'd say D minor 11, C minor 11, B flat 7, sharp 11, A flat 7, sharp 11, and then something along those lines. G minor 9 with a little melody, and up to a C7. And then let's say this time we'll do, I think I went that's what I did. So I'll go back to there, or that's right. Okay, so that little bit is just a typical thing I do a lot. There's a diminished chord in there to get the. And then we finally end up with an F major 7 chord. Up this high on the board, this is not too hard to play. First inversion F major 7th chord, and then I quickly went down to get the root and played my little game there with the 7 and the 6. Then this second time, if I remember correctly, I went up to A minor 7 flat 5 with an 11 in the melody. Some kind of little melody up above the D7. I wish I would have moved it around to the bass a little more, like maybe that. But I think what I played was, and then what I could play if I was thinking more crisply, that kind of sound. With the minor 6. And then right here, that's just going again down from F. First finger really does a lot of work to just hold things down so I get some ringing effect. Big stretch here. And then try not to hit the B string if you have this big stretch, because it's the natural 5th and we don't want that. So you can do a couple of things like double stop with your little finger here, or just to avoid plucking that string. And then I went, which is kind of like a E flat. It's an interesting type of sound. It's the 5 chord of A harmonic minor, really. It's an E7 flat 9, but with a sus4 in it. And then I did this little thing I got from Lenny Bro a long, long time ago, where he plays the 2 notes of A7, move it down a half step to make it D7 with the melody, and then move it down another half step. So, and then you can play around like I did maybe 2 or 3 turnarounds there. Come on, Tim. No, it's early in the morning here in Seattle. That kind of stuff. And then, so that's kind of what I was thinking. Try to get these, this isn't a huge stretch. I'm going to talk about stretching a little bit. Somebody mentioned about being averse to the big stretched out chords. Basically, a lot of what happens with my hand is when I'm going to stretch beyond a 4-fret reach, I don't curl my first finger like I'm going to play a C chord. I point it the other direction. So like, for instance, here, if I just play a straight bar there, you got to make sure you don't try and play it, like you're playing violin, but rather tilt your hand back this way, and then you can keep going. And if I wanted to, I could make that, or that's actually quite pleasing there. So the trick is when you want to do a stretch like on this chord right here, a lot of guys avoid this chord because it's hard to do if you're doing it this way. But if you move your hand back this way, you can actually get the minor 6 or maybe even the diminished, effect by getting your hand to open this way instead of trying to get it to open this way. Anyway, that's just a little speech about the stretched out chords, which sound really good to my ear. So my life is somehow dedicated to doing hard things that sound good, rather than always assuming that my hands can't do something. I'll push them a little bit, not to the extent of hurting myself, because I don't want to do that, because that takes you out of the game for a long time. Okay, maybe I'll just go out with a little improvised chorus.